How many times have you heard that you need to get up early, like at 5 a.m., do all those morning routines in order to be successful? Well, that is complete bullshit. Forcing yourself to go through all those morning routines might be the number one thing holding you back from success right now. There's a smarter way to get stuff done and to be successful, which is understanding how your brain works and implementing the hacks I'll show you here. If you don't understand what forces are really driving you, and if you don't take control, you'll easily find yourself stuck in overwhelm or running out of energy and staying exactly where you are now. So what actually happens when you start your day with making your bed, exercising, reading, journaling, meditating, and all that stuff? Well, what do you actually do? Well, the reason why people have spoken so much about it is that it creates clarity, it creates direction, it sets you in movement, and you have these small wins. And all those small wins, they give you a boost of dopamine and they make you feel better. They make you feel like you've already accomplished something, right? And that's great. I'm not saying that we shouldn't do morning routines. I'm just saying that you don't need them. And if you want to do them for another reason, because people are doing the morning routines. They're going through the motions of the morning routines, believing that this is the secret sauce that will lead them to success. And it's not. If you go into the morning routines and adapt all those routines and you think that this is what is going to give you success, going through the motions, it won't give you success. It'll just be something time consuming and energy consuming that you do every day. So picture this. You have a set amount of time every day. You have a set amount of energy every day, and you have a set amount of focus every day. Now, let's say that in a day we have 24 hours. I suggest you sleep 8 of those. I suggest you spend another 8 of those hours playing, hanging out with friends, family, doing the stuff you enjoy doing. And the rest of the 8 hours, that is your productive time. And remember, you can't be productive all the time, right? You need the downtime in order to be able to be 100% productive when you actually log on. So what happens if you spend an hour or 2 hours of this productive time doing your morning routines? Well, I'm not saying that it's wrong to do morning routines, but people sort of cling onto those morning routines as if the morning routines is the magic thing that will give them all the success. And it's not. What doing morning routines gives you is it gives you more clarity, it gives you more direction, it gives you all those small wins which boost dopamine, they make you feel good. It builds confidence because you're actually doing something good for yourself. And yeah, you can say that it helps you become more disciplined, which is nice. The thing is that you're spending a lot of time and energy doing it. This time and energy and focus could be spent actually being productive instead. So what if you instead could achieve the things that the morning routines are supposed to give you without having to go through all the morning routines? Wouldn't that be nice? People advocate morning routines because they lack what the morning routines are giving them. They lack clarity, they lack direction, they lack drive and motivation, they lack energy, they're stressed out and they're overwhelmed. And just going through the motions of doing the morning routines might just bring them more into overwhelm and steal more time and energy and focus, which is really not productive at all. So I know so many people who are extremely successful at their business, and they don't do morning routines. They don't have a strict thing they do every morning, and they're so successful. So what is their secret? What do they do in the morning before 8 a.m.? Well, to be honest, a lot of them sleep. And sleep is the number one performance enhancer. If you don't get enough sleep, how do you expect that you're going to achieve your goals? You know, lack of sleep is, first of all, super detrimental to your health. You might not notice it now, but in the long run, when you get older, you can't have good health if you don't sleep enough, period. When you sleep, this is where your body regains its energy. It's where your body heals itself. Sleep is a necessity. Mother Nature is super smart. Sleep wouldn't be a thing if we didn't need it. If you don't sleep, you will die, period. If you don't sleep enough, you will get sick at some point. And lack of sleep, it actually produces stress hormones. And you know the deal with stress hormones. A lot of stress over time, yes, it can lead to burnout and it could also lead to you becoming really ill in the long run. So sleeping is the number one priority. And if your morning routines actually make you sleep less, they're not very productive. So, when you're sitting down to do the work you're doing, you need your brain to function, you need your energy, and you need to be able to lower your stress levels and to focus. If you're sleep deprived, that won't happen. You will struggle with it for a short period of time. Yes, you can still get stuff done. In the long run, it won't happen. When you lack sleep, your thoughts automatically go more negative. You go more easily into overwhelm, and it's like everything becomes harder and more overwhelming, more scary. Maybe you suffer from anxiety, rumination, worry, all that stuff, and it could very well just be linked to sleep deprivation. So the number one hack in order to be successful is get enough sleep. If that means sleeping until 8 a.m., that means sleeping until 8 a.m. If you do, however, go to bed early and wake up early, fantastic. And what do people who are successful do before 8 a.m. if they have gotten enough sleep? Well, I know a lot of them will check in with themselves, set the direction and intention for the day. And I do advocate for meditation. Yes, personally, I meditate every single day. It's a necessity, just like we brush our teeth, okay? But it doesn't have to be 2 hours. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. It could be 5 minutes. If you just allow yourself to close your eyes, go into yourself, relax, and visualize either the day, your goal, where you want to be, who you want to become, or the business that you're building. If you do that every day for like 5 minutes or even less, it can be just a few minutes. It will really help you gain more clarity and direction and put you wherever you need to be. But it doesn't have to be time consuming, and it doesn't have to require a lot of focus and energy. Going through the motions of a lot of morning routines, this is what can suck your energy dry. Successful people also have a habit of deciding what they want to think. It starts in the morning with putting the intention of what thoughts you allow into your head and what thoughts you won't allow into your head. You know what the biggest difference between people who have success and don't have it, between people who are happy and people who aren't happy, between people who get stuff done and people who don't get stuff done? Do you know what the biggest difference is? It's if they believe their thoughts or not. Because we all have fear, we all have doubt, we all have shame, we all have overthinking, we all have all those negative thoughts coming into our mind. The huge difference is, do we believe them or not? You can choose to believe them or not. You can't control them coming because they will come. That's how your mind functions. Those thoughts will come. It's up to you to decide, do I believe them or do I just let them go? So successful people, they start their day by managing their thoughts. What thoughts do I want to have in my head today? What do I allow into my head? And which thoughts do I send off to somewhere else? Because in the end, you decide what thoughts can anchor up in your head, what thoughts you want to think, what thoughts you want to believe. Remember that all the thoughts in your head, they're there for a reason. They are there because your brain at some point learned something, saw something, interpreted something, and it's not true, and it's not even your thoughts. It's stuff you have adopted from everyone else throughout your life, and it's not true, and it's not yours. And now you get to choose if you believe them or not. So successful people, they will start the day saying, today's going to be a great day. I believe in myself. Everything is possible. They don't even need to say it because they know it, because they've tuned their mindset so often into knowing that everything is possible, that they are unstoppable, that they can do whatever they want to, that they have all the resources they need. Because so often they've stopped their thoughts, stopped believing in all those negative thoughts, and just decided that this is what they want to believe. And then that will be part of their reality. So they start their day by setting the intentions of what thoughts they want to have in their head. And honestly, there have been times of my life where I haven't done any morning routines at all. Having small kids, running a huge successful business, it did require a lot of time and energy and focus on my end. And you know what? For a long time, period, I didn't even need it because I knew exactly where I was going. I had clarity, I had motivation, I had clear goals. And when you know what your vision is, when you know what your goal is, when you know what you need to do today and tomorrow and the next week and the next month. So, do you know what your vision is? Do you have a clear vision? Do you know where you're going? Do you know the reason you're getting up every morning and where you want to go, what you want to create, and what you want to achieve in this world? Do you have a clear goal? Okay, so really important when you're setting a goal is that it has to be aligned with your vision and your values. And if you don't know what your values are, you need to get this down. Okay, so knowing what your vision and your values is, based on that, set a goal which is meaningful for you. It really needs to mean something for you. And a lot of people set a goal that is safe, that they know they can achieve. And you know what a huge secret is? If you set a goal that is too easy, your brain will not give you enough dopamine. You know, dopamine is what gives you energy and drive and moves you towards your goal. And if your brain sees that, okay, that goal, that will be really easy to get to, well, then you won't need that much energy, right? So if you set a goal which is just like, it feels like it's out of your reach, it's like, wow, it just gives you butterflies in your stomach. If you set a goal that is just like, whoa, it's so huge, it would be so awesome, and I don't really believe that I can get there. If you set a goal like that, you know what will happen? Your brain will give you so much more dopamine. And dopamine is really the secret to getting where you want to go. You don't need all those morning routines. You need dopamine. So how do you get enough dopamine? Well, it is by having a clear vision, by knowing what your values are and setting a meaningful goal that is aligned to your vision and your values. So a vision, it's not a defined goal. It can be something that you won't ever achieve. It is the direction that you're going. My vision as a performance coach is to spread knowledge about how the mind works, how the brain functions, to as many people as possible. What is as many people as possible? How many is that? Will I ever reach it? I don't know, but this is what is keeping me going. This is what gets me out of bed every single morning. It gives me direction, it gives me motivation, it gives me drive, and I don't need the morning routines because I have this vision. I know where I'm going, and based on my vision, I'm setting goals and I'm heading for those goals every single day. So I get up in the morning and I'm working on my goals and I know where I'm going. And I don't waste time doing all those morning routines. Well, that's almost true. I do meditate for 15 minutes because I know it is important. Well, it is important. And at some point, I think you should implement that into your daily routine. But if that isn't you right now, if you have kids, if you have a lot of stuff happening, then maybe 15 minutes feels like a stretch. At least sometime during the day, close your eyes, and it can just be while you're still in bed before you go out of bed with your eyes closed. Just breathe in and check in with yourself. What's your vision? Where are you going? What's your goal? What do you want to create? Who do you want to be? And when you check in on this as often as possible, it will be more clearer to you. You will remember it more and it will help you maintain that drive and motivation. Okay, so let's get clear here. A lot of people think they need to go through a lot of motions in order to be successful. Those motions, called morning routines, are there to give you motivation, drive, and clarity and a feeling of mastery, small wins, okay? Most people end up spending so much time and energy doing that when they finally start their work day, they're like already spent that much time and spent that much energy, and now they need to do the real work. And the motivation and drive you get from a morning routine, yeah, it will last for a little while, but it won't take you throughout the whole day. And what does take you through a whole day? It is your inner drive and motivation. And where does it come from? It comes from having a clear vision. It comes from knowing what your values are. It comes from setting clear goals which are based on your vision and your values. When you have that, you'll be motivated from morning to evening. It'll be easy for you to prioritize work. Setting meaningful goals is the number one thing we do when we train motivation and focus and drive. It is the number one thing that will help you go into that flow state and keep it there. And you won't have to force it. You'll feel energized and it won't be draining. Whereas if you spend half your day doing morning routines, spending so much time, energy, and focus doing that, when you finally get to doing the work, you'll be drained and you'll be overwhelmed because there's still so much to do and you already spent that much time doing all that other stuff. Okay, are you getting a grip on this? Does it sound right? Can you see the picture now? It's not really about things you do, it's about that inner drive, the inner feeling you have on the inside. You know, your brain needs to focus on something 100% of the time, and it will focus on what it thinks is important to you. When you're really clear about where you're going, your brain will know that, this is so important. I'll send all the energy and time and focus in that direction, and you won't need the morning routines. When you know where you're going, when you have a clear direction, you don't need morning routines. You don't need any of that stuff. You just need a good night of sleep and your computer, and you're all set. If you found this interesting, I'm sure you like this one too.